It's 6 p.m., top of the hour, time for the news in the Queen's language. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us. Let's begin the news with our bullet points. Heads of states and governments of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, have dedicated their mandate to Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, as a new president of ECAS. He was elected during the 20th ordinary session in Brazzaville, where Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gote represented the Head of State, Paul Biya. The outgoing ambassador of Egypt to Cameroon and the Minister of External Relations, Lojem Belambela, have tightened the cooperation knots between Cameroon and Egypt. While the African Nations Cup continued to give surprising results, the appearance of the city of Yaoundé at night looks great. With the display of flags of the participating nations, the beautiful flyers and light is an attraction to many Yaoundé city dwellers. Those were our top stories. I'll be right back. As you heard in one of our lead stories, the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, has been elected as the new President of the Economic Community of Central African States of Head of States and Government. He was elected during the 20th ordinary session held in Brazzaville yesterday, where Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gote represented the Head of State, Paul Biya. The following report has an in-depth of this story. The Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, mobilizes all its resources and energy to make Central Africa a region of peace, prosperity, and solidarity based on a unified economic and political space where each citizen moves freely in order to thus ensure sustainable and balanced development. 4 heads of state were present alongside other prime ministers and personalities who came to represent their various countries. The United Nations Secretary General's representative for Central Africa opened the ceremony with a speech and representative of the African Union. The need to strengthen regional integration, security, health and development strategy with Central Africa was on their menu. The President of Congo, Denis Sassou Nguesso, in his remark, brought out the efforts made to improve security, economic growth and regional integration during his mandate as the President of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS. He equally invited other heads of state to put more effort towards addressing the pertinent issues such as putting in place a common market for the ECAS bloc. Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Dion Gote, personal representative of the Head of State, Paul Biya, with other heads of state, examined other issues regarding the functioning of ECAS. During the close of the session, many issues were examined in the area of security, health, development, and regional integration within member states. The 20th ordinary session of the Conference of Heads of States and Heads of Governments of ECAS saw the election of President Felix Tshisekedi of the Democratic Republic of Congo as the new president. The heads of states and heads of government dispersed with the appointment to meet in Kinshasa in August 2022 for the 21st ordinary session of the Economic Community of Central African States. Some actors of the planning, programming, budgeting, monitoring and evaluation of state budgets allocated to the Ministry of Youth and Civic Education have begun a 2-day capacity building workshop in the nation's capital city, Yaoundé. The opening ceremony took place this Thursday, January 20th, 2022 at the conference hall of the Chamber of Commerce in Yaoundé under the auspices of the Secretary General of the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education, as our staff man Isaac Ngonkum tells us in the following report.
The 2-day capacity building workshop for actors of the planning, programming, budgeting, monitoring and evaluation chain at the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education is aimed at equipping participants with the necessary skills for the effective and efficient management of state resources allocated to the ministry for the 2022 financial year. For 2 days, participants will receive keynote presentations from experts mobilized from the Ministry of the Economy, Planning and Regional Development, as well as the Ministry of Finance, coupled with a series of practical sessions. The opening ceremony that took place at the Yaoundé Chamber of Commerce this Thursday, 20th January 2022, was declared open by the Director of General Affairs at the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education under the auspices of the Secretary General of the Ministry and presiding President of the training workshop. Participants were graced with the first 2 presentations of the day given by Umate Abubakar. The Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education is putting all hands on deck to ensure that the 2022 budget allocation goes to the right priority areas of the ministry and contributes in the attainment of the 2030 National Development Strategy that falls in line with President Paul Biya's 2035 Emergence Vision for Cameroon as a nation.
On to one of our late stories, the bilateral cooperation between Cameroon and Egypt has been described as cordial since 1960 in several domains. This was during an audience granted to the outgoing Egypt ambassador to Cameroon, His Excellency Medad Mohamed Kamer, by the Minister of External Relations, Lojen Belambela, at his ministerial department this Thursday, January 20th, 2022. During the close to an hour audience, both personalities revisited the bilateral cooperation between Cameroon and Egypt. The following report tells us more. The courtesy and farewell visit granted by the Minister of External Relations, Lojen Belambela, this Thursday, January 20th, 2022, to the outgoing ambassador of Egypt, His Excellency Medad Mohamed Kamer, was a forum that revived cooperation ties between Cameroon and Egypt. In an exchange between both personalities during the farewell audience, the Egyptian diplomat expressed his sincere gratitude for the excellent bilateral cooperation both countries have and the structures carried out so far from 2017 since his presence in Cameroon.
There is no summary when it comes to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of External Relations. This is the official body with which we work in every domain and in every field with our relations in Cameroon. So we talked about all the bilateral relations that we have between us. We talked about all the multilateral relations that is between us. I can tell you that we are certain and we are confident that the relations have reached a peak when it comes to good terms between the two countries. I am personally satisfied with what I have done here.
His Excellency Medad Mohamed Kamer pointed out that Egyptian projects such as La Famille Productivité that empowers citizens to undertake micro projects such as mat weaving, fisheries and other artisanal activities, especially for women and persons living with disability in the rural areas.
As you know, in diplomacy it's a work of continuity, so I am waiting for the new ambassador who will replace me to continue what I started and so that the wheel will still go on and enlarge the scope of our relation between the two countries.
Besides just a farewell audience, it was equally an opportunity for the Minister of External Relations, Lojen Belambela, to propose further cooperation areas that could be explored, such as the field of innovative technology. The Cameroon-Egypt relations go back to a long time since the independence of Cameroon in 1960. These relations evolved to cover many fields of cooperation in the political sector, where both countries are keen on enhancing these relations throughout increasing coordination between their leaders. His Excellency Medad Mohamed Kamer will not leave the country until the end of the African Nations Cup, which is ongoing in Cameroon. If you're just joining us, you're watching the 6 p.m. newscast on Camden's television in the Queen's language. Following the release signed by the Secretary General at the service of the Prime Minister, Seraphine Magloire-Fouda, to readjust school timetables from 7:30 to 1 p.m., many schools in the national territory have been obeying this order. Not forgetting schools in Monatele, where most of them have used this period to prepare activities for the upcoming Youth Week, while others join other Cameroonians to watch the Africa Cup of Nations matches. Others take the period as a period to rest. Ruth Fonyong tells us more.
There is absolute tranquility and serenity at the Monatele Government School as students are all in their classes, gathering knowledge, and teachers doing their best to observe the schedule put in place by the government stakeholders, where schools begins at 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily so that they could fill up stadia during this ongoing Africa Cup of Nations. The adjustments done at our level are the reduction of lessons to 45 minutes, going from 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. We handle all our time table. At the government practicing primary school Group 4 of Monatele, measures have been taken to respect the instructions of the head of government. Classes start at 7:30 and ends at 1 p.m. A moment for the preparatory phase of the Youth Day celebration, where they will be freed for cultural activities. From hence, in the Group 4, classes go from 7:30 to 1 p.m. and cultural activities from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. For nursery school teachers, it is with immense joy that they welcome this initiative, given that they will have enough time to rest. Teachers are happy because they go back home to watch the games, and for those of us who understand, we persevere. In Deleke, things have been put together in order to fully observe the text of the government. Here too, people are contented with the small screens kept at the disposal of the population to watch the games. Fortunately, AFCON villages have been installed to live the football moment.
While the 2021 AFCON is in full swing in Cameroon, the appearance of the city of Yaoundé looks great. The display of flags of the participating nations, the flowers and the beautiful light is an attraction to many Yaoundé city dwellers. Many hope that the town should remain as beautiful as it is even after the continental football bonanza. Geraldine Nasser tells us more.
Since the festive periods getting into the AFCON tournament currently going on in Cameroon, the brightness of the city of Yaoundé at night is a beautiful thing to behold. Characterized with light, beautiful flowers, statue of lions, and the various flags representing the 24 participating nations is an attraction to many Yaoundé city dwellers.
Really, I am very happy. It's so cool. Yaoundé is a very beautiful town. They have really decorated the town and it's so beautiful. If we can continue like this, it will be nice. After a tedious day at work, we can spend some time to admire the beauty of the town because it's so beautiful.
According to many, these decorations have given the town a new facelift, especially the beautiful light which symbolizes life, joy and hope.
Contrary to the face that Yaoundé had before the festive period, today we have another configuration of the city. That means that the town has put on a new face, the lights and the lions everywhere, with all the indications, make us to think we are in Hollywood, and it is good. Someone who lives maybe from the village and arrives in Yaoundé for the very first time, the person will be amazed. It also attracts tourists.
Nevertheless, this new phase of Yaoundé has made many to get to discover some areas, particularly tourists who are visiting the town for their first time. Many therefore hoped that this bright nature of Yaoundé has come to stay even after the AFCON competition.
Two games were played simultaneously in Group D to crown or to end the round of play in that group in the ongoing continental football bonanza in Cameroon. Hierarchy was respected as Egypt joined Senegal in the round of 16 to the detriment of Sudan and Guinea-Bissau, who finished in the group with 1 point each. Isaac Ngonkom watched the two games yesterday and compiled these highlights for the news.
At the Rumde Aja Stadium in Garoua, the Super Eagles of Nigeria continued to fly without perching as they thrashed Guinea-Bissau 2-0 to consolidate their group domination. Goals from Sadiq Omar and Trust Ekong in the second half were enough to hand Nigeria 9 points in the group stage, the only team to have achieved such a feat in the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. Down south, the Pharaohs of Egypt narrowly edged Sudan 1-0 to secure the second position in the group and majestically moved to the round of 16. Egypt's lone goal was scored at the 35th minute of play thanks to a powerful header from Mohamed Abdel Moeed. Liverpool star player Mohamed Salah put up a beautiful spectacle to the delight of the thousands of football fans who gathered at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé to watch the beautiful game. Yesterday's result in Group D means Cameroon will now have to wait longer before knowing her opponent for the round of 16. In the meantime, Cape Verde and Malawi, who finished the group stage with 4 points each from Group A and B, are now officially through to the knockout stages. The last group games in Group E and F will be played today. Cote d'Ivoire and Algeria are currently playing the Group E finale at the 50,000 capacity Japoma Stadium in Douala, while Sierra Leone and Equatorial Guinea are tussling for supremacy at the Limbe Omnisport Stadium in Kmer. Later at 8 p.m., Mali will be squaring up with Mauritania at the Japoma Stadium in Douala, while Tunisia and the Gambia have some unfinished business in Limbe.
Still in sport, fan zones are given the pride of place this month of AFCON 2021 tournament in Cameroon, and sometimes are distinguished by their traditional and modern architecture with relaxation areas for those who want to experience unique moments. These fan zones are characterized with music, catering and conducive atmosphere to savor the various meetings by football fans. Our reporter Jurodin Nasser went down to some of the fan zones in the nation's capital city, Yaoundé, and compiled the full report for the news.
Cameroon, fan zones have emerged with a particular decoration and architecture from nature to modernity through culture and exceptional constructions. Visiting these areas in the evenings paint a picture of a grand celebration of a great event in the country.
We thought of purely an African architecture and Cameroonian in particular because it has to represent Africa. We are in a grand celebration of great feast in Africa because football is like a tradition in Africa. So when we thought of constituting this fan zone, it needed that people should find themselves in Africa.
It is called the AFCON village, so we took everything that comes from the village to construct our stands, like the lawns as you can see. In a conducive atmosphere combined with football, catering and music, the AFCON village at Tinga Roundabout in Yaoundé is one of the zones to savor the various meetings by football lovers.
Like every Cameroonian, it is our meal that is our different dishes here, and also in the cultural plan, we brought Cameroonian artists from Yaoundé municipality who want to promote their music.
It's always filled every evening. We receive so many visitors and many find our decors interesting. When the Indomitable Lions are playing, there is no space to even stand up here. And we also have a nice cuisine from villages. Visitors come here especially on Saturday. These architectural constructions are, however, not complete without the Cameroonian cuisine for the discovery of visitors. Looking at the AFCON village at the Yaoundé Town Hall, one can see a real stadium with a large screen and space for the viewing pleasure of football fans. With the presence of these fan zones in Cameroon during this competition, most football lovers feel satisfied even without visiting the various stadia.
And before we close our sport page, a reminder of the recent happenings that the Elephants of Côte d'Ivoire are leading Algeria by 3-0 at the Japuma Stadium in the nation's economic capital, Douala. Meanwhile, Equatorial Guinea is leading Sierra Leone by 1-0 at the Limbe Omnisport Stadium. And if the scores of this game end like this till the 90th minute of play, Cameroon will have to play the Comoros Islanders, who stand a chance to be the best third in Group C of the Continental Football Bonanza in Cameroon. And out of the country, Gambian President Adamou Barrow was sworn in for the second term on Wednesday in a ceremony near the capital city, Banjul. Meanwhile, the Democratic Republic of Congo's former president, Joseph Kabila, would not appear in court for hearing for the assassination of Floribert Djebeya and Flodel Bazana. Ruth Fonyong has these stories in the following report.
Barrow's first election in 2016 put an end to more than 20 years of Yahya Jammeh's rule over the tiny West African nation. The former property developer was re-elected in December, winning 53% of the vote. He was sworn in for a second 5-year term at a stadium at Bakau on the outskirts of Banjul in ceremonies attended by foreign VIPs that climaxed with a 21-gun salute. December's election was peaceful and marked the first vote in the former British colony of 2 million people since Jammeh fled into exile in January 2017 after his surprise defeat at the ballot box. The United Democratic Party of leading opposition candidate Ousseini Dabwe appealed the election results to the Supreme Court, alleging irregularities and corruption in Barrow's campaign. The plea was dismissed. On Wednesday, the Kinshasa Gombe High Military Court rejected the request to high former President Kabila. Lawyers of late human rights defender Floribert Djebeya and his driver Fidel Bazana hoped to hear him. 11 years after the disappearance of their clients, the legal professionals were counting on the testimonies of Joseph Kabila to clear up gray areas. Paul Mulambe, one of the police officers found guilty of the murders in 2021 trial, had mentioned the former president. The culprits designated Kabila together with other political figures as being meddled with the assassination scheme. Referring to the discretionary power their position grants them, the judges did not further explain the motives behind their decision. The inquiry into the prominent activist's murder will proceed. Congolese Djebeya was found dead in 2010, and investigations on the uncounted disappearance of his driver were not conclusive. A widely criticized first trial ended in 2011. However, last year an inquiry was reopened.
And that does it for this edition of the news in the Queen's language. But before we part company, a recap of our major stories. Heads of states and heads of governments of the Economic Community of Central African States, ECAS, have given their mandate to Felix Tshisekedi, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, as the new president of the bloc. He was elected during the 20th ordinary session in Brazzaville, where Prime Minister, head of government Joseph Dion Gote represented the head of state Paul Biya. The outgoing ambassador of Egypt to Cameroon and the Minister of External Relations, Logien Bellamela, have tightened the cooperation knot between Cameroon and Egypt. While the African Nations Cup continued to give surprising results, the appearance of the city of Yaoundé at night looks great. With the display of flags of the participating nations, the beautiful flowers and light is an attraction to many Yaoundé city dwellers. And it is here that the curtain draws for this edition of the news in the English language. Desiree Trezon Bune will meet you at 8 p.m. for the news in the French language. See you tomorrow, 6 p.m. for another edition of the news. But before then, to have a wonderful evening in the company of our programs. Goodbye, thanks for watching, and God bless you.